Here it is some important information. For example, information about myself. So my name is Любовь Шаманина. I'm the head of Pearson Learning Studio. And today we are going to work with one just brilliant student's book and some sources that will help to improve your exam skills. First of all, you will get your certificate in the follow-up email within 2 or 3 days, hope so, after the event. So check other Pearson Winter Festival events on our website. You will find some more information that could be very interesting for you and important. First of all, this session will be recorded and published on our website, so it will also be sent to everyone who registered for it. And if you want to ask some questions, please, you can use this email address just to send a letter, or at the end of our meeting, we are going to discuss something and you can ask some questions, just to be sure that you are informed in a proper way. Okay, I want you just to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, if you want to know the information that is just the newest one, the brand new, and sometimes it's very important to understand what is the book we are going to work with. So it's called Experience, B2 Plus. You can see that it includes just the student's book, the app that can be used while in your mobiles, and it can be downloaded, and our online lab that can be used by any student to improve his skills. Of course, it's possible to download the Google Experience Students Book, just work from your own laptop. So let's start using the student book and learning more about it and about some students' tasks. Guys, are you here? So just say hello to let me know that you are here and ready to work. Okay, that's great that you are here and you are going to work. I hope hard and with pleasure, first of all. Here it is. You can see the photo, and the phrase here is, I'm not into stuffy hotels. First of all, what we are going to discuss is something that is connected with traveling, as you can understand, as it's named going places. So the first question that can be just shared and discussed, what kinds of travel or holiday experiences do you enjoy most? So I'm sharing the screen once more. So guys, do you like traveling? Where would you like to go? What places would you like to visit? And maybe you will do something special while being relaxed. What do you think about it? What experiences would you share with us? For example, making photos, visiting some places, going sightseeing.
I like traveling, and I prefer active activities for
Active
my
way of spending time.
Active spending time, and the one activity which I remember from my traveling is I don't remember how it's called. It's when you need to jump from heights.
It can be base jumping or
it's
bungee jumping.
Yeah.
Okay. And it excited you a lot, so that's why you can tell us about it and you remembered it. Okay.
I like extreme activities.
Extreme ones. Let it be. So Lisa, what do you like doing while traveling?
I like have relaxed time.
So you like relaxing or relaxation. Let it be. Nikolai. Please continue, please.
I want to try camping.
Camping. So you're looking you're looking at the photo and you can see it.
Yeah.
That's why you have such an idea. Okay. Thank you very much. So Nikolai.
I prefer active sports too, such as rock climbing and sailing, because it's very exciting to see something new in the world.
Does it charge you? Does it give you some
I
energy?
think yes, it gives me positive
Positive
positive emotions and knowledge about places.
Okay. So let's just pay attention to the photo. Can you describe what is happening in it? And the only one question to add. Where do you think the man has pitched his tent? What do you think about it?
On
Can
the
you
top
see?
of the mountain.
Somewhere close to the mountains, just for some purposes. What for? To enjoy
The nature.
Sunrise.
the sunrise. Let it be.
Sunset. Yeah.
Okay. So can you describe me this photo just in details? What is going on? You should use just continuous to describe it.
Man resting in a tent and looking
So
at the
the
mountains.
man is lying in a tent. What else? Let's talk about his emotions.
Maybe there is not.
Resting.
He's resting. What else? He's resting. He is looking somewhere. Where is he looking?
Or is he's planning to? He's planning. He's planning to book.
He's planning to walk. Yeah?
No, I want to say he's planning to book a hotel room.
He doesn't
There's
like the situation. So
no rooms available. So
let it be. He would change something if he could.
Probably.
Okay. What else? What about the just the nature? About the sun? We have to use a lot of continuous sentences just to describe the photo, as it's given in your exam task. The sun is
shining. He is lying and relaxing. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe the weather is changing because it's morning. It is becoming warmer and warmer.
Yes, and he's become warmer as well.
Okay. So there are some answers just to describe us the situation, to give some details of it. What makes a good travel companion? Guys, what do you think about your own best companion ever who can just travel with you with pleasure?
It should be a person you can rely on.
So we're reliable.
You have to trust him.
Trustworthy, reliable.
Yes.
Okay. Something else to add? Polina?
May I ask? May I add something? I would say that it's not that important to rely on the person. Actually, it is, but
it will be fun.
It's much more. Yeah, it's much more important if the person is on the same wavelength with you.
Let it be. So agree.
You have to get along with him as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So something else to add, girls? Our students? Ksenia, Lisa, Polina, Nikolai. Something to add?
For me, the best companion is that man which can support you in any situation and which can help who can help you to make right choice and who can read all things attentively.
Who is attentive enough just to be sure that you follow some ways that are the best ones. You are buying something that is important for you, and so on and so forth. So he should be adaptable first. Okay, and adaptable. What do you want to say?
I think that in general, a good companion is a person who can make fun easily. So that's why while traveling, it's important to have people around you that can make some jokes, so
Okay,
etc.
with a good sense of humor.
Yeah, exactly.
Let it be. So,
And
do you make photos while traveling? Do you make photos? Or do you take photos
Of
while
course.
traveling? What for?
Of course,
Nature.
to post on Instagram.
Uh-huh. Just to enjoy the nature, something else?
To post in Instagram.
Let it be, Polina.
I enjoy taking photos of nature. I really love the sea, and it is changing during the day, and the photos are always different.
Okay. Let it be. So let's continue working with the next theme. We can see that this man is just fond of traveling, and he is the only one person who enjoys it during the period of his just relaxation, as he is just only one person in a tent. But sometimes it's better to travel a lot and to travel with a company of people who enjoy the same things as you do. Still, we are going to talk about something new and pay attention to the task. Who could read it? Polina, would you be so kind to read us the task?
Yes, of course.
So try, please.
А можно вот эту штучку отодвинуть?
So I can just make it in a full screen. So like this, is it evident? Working groups?
Yeah, working groups. Which of these places have you heard of? Have you visited any of them? Which would you like to visit in real life? And which would you prefer to visit virtually? And why?
So what have you seen? What places have you visited?
Wait a minute. Let me think.
Have you visited some of them? At least maybe the places, the Egyptian pyramids?
I think
they were traveling there before the COVID period. Alina?
I have visited the Egyptian pyramids.
Egyptian pyramids.
And that's all.
That's all. So let's go further and just what else to add?
Machu Picchu.
Machu Picchu.
Peru,
Okay.
yes.
Even if you haven't visited these places, we are going to travel and to go to some places of interest that you would like to visit. I hope so, and maybe in your future you will. And our task is just to guess what are these places to be just seen here. So here they are. What are the places? So what is H? It's space.
Yes. And it's easy that...
What is A?
A is Machu Picchu.
Machu Picchu. B is? Some natural reserve in Africa.
Serengeti.
Serengeti, yes, Serengeti. The next one, C. What is C?
The Brazilian rainforest.
Rainforest, the Brazilian rainforest. F.
Maldives? Maldives?
No, it's not
Great
the
Barrier Reef.
Maldives. It's just it's the Great Barrier Reef, but it's similar in some way. G. What is G?
G. Himalayas.
The Himalayas. And what about H? Oh no, not H. Sorry, D. Let's talk about D.
Maldives.
The Maldives.
The Maldives. Yeah, here they are. And what about H? It's space. What are the places to visit virtually? The best ones to visit virtually. What do you think about it? Where would you like to go virtually, and what for?
Space. I want to go virtually space.
Okay. it's impossible to travel there.
Yeah, exploring how other planets looks like. So,
and as I understand, it's better to travel this place, to go to this place as in real. So I mean A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, because you would get more from visiting these places. Let it be. Would you like to travel right now, virtually? And we are going to travel to some place. I'm going to show it to you. So it's some video, and we are going to participate, to go there with some astronauts. What would it be? Just guess. What could it be? Some space tour.
To the moon, to the Mars.
Yeah, we are talking about the Mars. We are going to travel there. And it's the event that happened some days ago, I hope so. And it's, I think, the most important events, one of the most important events of this year. So I'm sharing the screen, and I want you just to travel to space. It's downloading. Longer than I expected to, but still. Can you see the video?
No.
Let's try watching it.
The surface of Mars.
So, do you have some sound?
Yep.
Surface of Mars. So, with that, I invite you now to, if you would like to close your eyes and just imagine yourself sitting on the surface of Mars and listening to the surroundings. If I could have the first one, please.
You can even close your eyes. Imagine.
So that gentle whirl that happens in the background, that is a noise made by the rover. But yes, what you did hear 10 seconds in was an actual wind gust on the surface of Mars, picked up by the microphone and sent back to us here on Earth. The analysis indicates that was around a 5 meter per second type of wind gust. So we can sit here now and actually tell you that we have recorded sound from the surface of Mars. So we have a second one, which basically further reduces the noise of the rover, so you can just hear what the wind would sound like on Mars. And once again, I invite you to sit back and have a listen to what it would sound like to be on Mars. It's cool. It's really neat.
So it's our today's reality. It's possible for us just to hear such sounds that are just impossible to hear in real. So that's why maybe it's important to travel virtually sometimes. Let's continue working with the next idea. We are to know more about the words given here. They are the collocations with word tool. So we can connect it with other words just to get the phrase that means a lot. Here are the variants: 3-day, 10-day, 2 months tour, a walking, cycling tour, a bus tour, and so on and so forth. So there are some phrases that maybe are not known by you. So extensive tour that takes a lot of time, or extended one. I'm sure you know what a whistle stop means, tour means. So what can it be?
You need to show the screen or not?
What once more? It's difficult to...
You need to show the screen.
So I did it once more, so I will try.
Okay.
You can see the picture, yeah? So once more, I'm going to share the screen once more with you. So can you see it?
Yep, now perfect.
I hope so. Just, there are some words. Just pay attention to these words and try to remember them. when we'll try to name these phrases one by one and to guess, to number them. So, what phrases don't you know?
Extended tour.
Extended. That takes a lot of time. For example, you are not in a hurry. You can spend a lot of days there. So, for example, more than 10 days. So, it's an extended tour.
So, thank you.
So, a tour company, it's easy. A tour operator, also not important to explain. Go on a tour, make, take, and do a tour. All these variants are possible for the usage while talking about it. A tour of something. Take somebody on a tour, lead a tour around or around something, a sightseeing tour, a leg, stage of a tour. What does it mean? It's a small part of it. And the last one is an interactive virtual tour. We need to highlight this very phrase, an interactive virtual tour. So I give you just 1 minute to try to remember these words, and then you're going to check if you know these words and try to remember them just for the first time. At least 21. So let's start trying. You do have enough time?
Let's start trying, I think.
Some more seconds. Don't make photos. Don't try to just write them. Train your memory. Okay, let's start. Let's try. What are the words? You can just mention them. 10-day or двухмесячный тур.
2 months.
2 months tour. What else? Пеший тур или велосипедный?
Walking tour.
Рекламный или концерт. Тур, посвященный какому-то концерту. Концертный тур.
Promotional tour.
Или concert. Something else to remember. Мировой, европейский тур.
European.
Or
world tour.
Краткий, недолгий.
Short.
Наоборот, продолжительный, so vice versa.
Extended.
So let's try to remember and to give all these notions in Russian if you are talking if you are using your memory. So you use a car just by going to some place, to go to some place. So you just ask somebody to pick you up and to bring you to some town. How do we call it?
Take somebody.
A whistle.
A whistle
stop. Okay, you are going somewhere to some hotel where everything is ready for you. It's just okay to have 3 meals, some excursions there. How would it be called?
Package tour?
A package one. Okay. A person who helps you to travel. He is proposing you something, some places to visit. They are called
tour operator.
Yeah, package. Okay, or tour operator. The next one. If you are traveling somewhere, this process is also called a tour
company.
To organize a tour, to do it, we can use some other words to say the same phrase. How would we say it? To make, to
take, to do.
Okay, that's okay. How do we say you travel all around the country? You see all the places of interest?
A tour around. And if you are visiting all these places of interest, how would it be called?
Sightseeing tour.
If you are talking only about a part of it, It's a part of a tour.
A leg of a tour.
A leg, stage of a tour. How would it be easy, the easiest way to understand the phrases? What was it? If I mentioned the words in Russian, or when I gave you just the explanation of the words?
Explanation.
So it works better. So that's why sometimes it's not important to know what is the translation of the phrases. Sometimes it's better just to understand the main meaning of them. Let it be. So let's go further, and we are going to continue working with the next thing, with the next task. Here it is. We are going to travel. But unfortunately, today we can't travel to any country we want, and we can't go to some places we would like to. So that's why we will try to travel virtually. Would you like to travel virtually?
Yes.
So let's just listen to some story. It's some experience of Marisa talking to a group of students about her own traveling, the virtual one. And what would it be about? You can see the picture. What's the travel? What's the tour? A bus one?
Unfortunately,
A car?
we
How
can't
would
see
it be
the
called?
picture.
There isn't a picture.
There is some problem
No picture.
on the screen, so I tried to demonstrate something, but my TV is working not in the proper way. So that's why, once more, do you see the picture?
Yes, now yes.
It's okay. If you don't see, please tell me some words and I will switch to another version. Would be okay? Because I try, sometimes it doesn't happen. Okay, where are we going to travel and what is the way to travel? You can see the photo.
On a hot air balloon.
A hot air balloon tour. Let it be. The questions are, what did Marisa see and how did she feel?
Okay, catch it.
Okay.
Try to pay attention to this very information that will be highlighted by Marisa.
Hi, I'm Marissa and I'm here to talk to you about virtual reality. Did you know that it's been used in manufacturing for ages but only recently gained mainstream interest? In its current form, it's most closely associated with gaming, but I don't doubt that there are other uses that will become more commonplace in future. So, that's why I decided to go on a virtual reality adventure, an adventure I want to share with you today. To help me decide where to go, I tried an atlas, then a map, but only really found success when I used a popular app that allows you to virtually walk down streets all over the world. Eventually, I decided to go on a balloon ride across the Serengeti National Park. Let me tell you this, I won't forget the experience in a hurry. A couple of friends who tried something similar told me they were scared by the experience, and I'd read an article which described it as surreal. But for me, the whole thing was spectacular, and I recommend you all try it. When the balloon took off, I truly felt as if I were leaving the ground and flying high into the sky. I'd expected to see dry, dusty land, not the fertile land in front of me. It was certainly different to the scenery I'm used to in the real world, which I'd say is mostly hilly. I looked at the picturesque view. The horizon was sparkling so much I actually had to squint. I could make out something below us. At first, I thought it was bushes, but then realised it was a huge herd of wildebeest. It must have been the season for migration, which is sometime in late May or early June, just before the summer. I've heard experts say that for virtual reality to really work and feel like the real world, you need to be able to touch things. But even without that, my brain tricked me into thinking I was really on that balloon ride. I even tried to lean on the basket at one point and almost fell over. So all in all, the experience had a big effect on me. There was one negative issue that came up though. The media has reported that users can get dizzy when wearing the headsets. I was fine with that, but I was really tired when I'd finished. Fortunately, I didn't get the eye pain some doctors predict. So, there's a lot of talk about whether VR will benefit the tourist industry in future. What I think it will do is result in more effective decision-making. Before booking a trip, travellers will be able to virtually explore resorts and hotels. Of course, virtual reality will also present opportunities to people who can't fly. This is an exciting prospect, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it takes us, both in the real and virtual sense. So now, any questions?
What questions would you ask? What would you like to know? If you could. What are your questions to Marisa?
Is this application free?
Is it for free? So you would like to try going somewhere virtual?
Yes.
Some other questions? Would you like to know how it feels like being in a hot air balloon somewhere up high?
Of course, it's interesting to feel.
What do you think about your feelings? Did she mention something? What were her feelings, and what does she think about this event? What does she think? Is she optimistic, or maybe she's just critical?
She was critical before she tried.
Before she tried it, so she was critical enough, and she thought about some difficulties. What could they be, according to your point of view?
She couldn't touch anything
First
around.
of all, and it's very. Why is it so important to touch everything that is around? Is it important? She couldn't experience all 5 senses, we could say. What are these senses? Could you just remind me these senses? 5 senses. They are hearing. What else? She couldn't touch.
She couldn't touch.
Hearing, touch.
Vision.
She couldn't feel, for example, breathe.
So she couldn't understand what is the smell of it.
Yes.
Okay. Could she try something? But it's impossible while traveling. But the 4th sense is the sense of taste, and the sense of sight. Also, it's possible. She could sight, at least. She could see something. She could use her sight. She could see. Okay, let it be. Would you like to participate? Would you like to be Marisa?
Oh, yes. I would like to fly a balloon and see picturesque views, as she said.
Okay, so you would like to take a balloon ride over the Serengeti. Let it be. So let's continue. What did she see? What did she see while going somewhere on a hot air balloon? She saw something.
She see beautiful landscapes from Serengeti National Park.
Of course, she could see some animals. How would she tell us about it? Do you remember? So let's go to some words. I'm going to share the screen once more. If some problems appear, please let me know. Will it be okay? So here are some words, just maybe to remember about something that happened during your traveling, your tour. So, what does it mean, a herd of wild beasts? A herd of. If we are talking about people, it's a crowd, a herd of wild beasts. But it's about what?
That's a group of animals.
So about wild animals who appeared to be seen by her. Okay, let it be. It was spectacular. What do you think about this word? What does it mean to be spectacular? and surreal sometimes.
Be amazing.
She was amazed by the view. Okay, and does it gain, the traveling, the virtual one, does it gain mainstream interest today? What does it, is it getting, how would we say, does it get or is it getting mainstream interest today? What would you use? What form would you use? Does it gain or is it getting?
Does it gain?
As a result, just as a fact, does it gain? Or if we are talking to, if we are going to highlight that is just the process and it's happening right now, we can use the continuous form. It is gaining mainstream interest. What does it mean to be associated with? What does it mean to be associated with?
It's when something is going to be as the same with something.
Okay. What does it mean to get dizzy? To get dizzy. It's something about your head.
It is condition before getting unconscious.
Okay, so your head goes round and round at this very moment. Let it be. So let's continue working with our students. How did she feel? How did she feel? So, how did she feel? She was very positive about her experience, as it was mentioned before. At the very beginning of her tour, she was afraid, but some minutes later, she was just happy. Let's go further and pay attention to the exam tips. So here are some sentences. Could you see them? The sentences here. Look at the first gap in text from exercise 5 below. What could the missing word be? Let's just use our brain to decide what is the word to be put into this gap. I put it here. So Marisa is convinced that virtual reality will not always be linked to the blah, blah, blah industry. What would it be here? What do you think?
Traveling industry.
Some industry, some special one, traveling or whatever is possible.
Tourist industry.
Tourist one, or maybe gaming one.
Entertainment.
So just try to find the answers because it's given here. It's a noun and the name of an industry, and you are absolutely right. So let's go further and just know something in detail. We are going to use this rule for our exam skills. Here it is. Who would like to read it? Lisa, would you like to read some sentences of this rule?
To choose the correct.
Correct. To choose
the correct answer and not a distractor.
What do you think about it? What is a distractor? Let's make a pose. What is the distractor? What is it? It's the word that confuses you and prevents you from choosing the right answer. Sometimes when you are doing listening during your exam. So let's continue. Yes.
Listen for words and phrases that express contrast.
So they are about something that is different from the very idea that is given in the sentence. For example, they are rather than, I was going to, but, I expected, but. Sometimes we miss these words, but, rather than, and we don't pay attention to some details given in the sentence, and we just make mistakes. Sometimes it's very important to highlight these words, and when you are reading and some texts, for example, preparing for your exams, just highlight these words to get the idea of the sentences while reading. Maybe you will train this skill. So here is the example. Read the example sentence and question, then choose the correct words in 1 and 2 below. So the phrase is, Nikolai, would you be so kind to read it? I thought
the trip would be fun rather than disappointing. The man described the trip as...
Was it fun? Or he was disappointed?
As disappointed.
Disappointed. Okay. But he hoped to get a lot of fun. The distractor is, what is it? Fun or disappointing? What doesn't help us to understand the meaning? Fun. And the answer is?
Disappointing.
Disappointing. So he wasn't satisfied with this tour. Let it be with this trip. So here it is. How would we improve our skills? How would we try to notice these words? What are the ways to notice such things? What do you think about it? You can just train it while reading. What would you do? You have the text, for example. You can read it easily. You can just notice some words that are similar to these ones that just confuse us. So let's continue. We are going to listen to the whole talk again and complete the gaps with the words or some phrases. Here are the sentences. You can go through these sentences just to pay attention to some details and notice some ideas. So you have some time. Please read these sentences. Okay. Will it change the picture? Did you succeed reading?
Wait.
Let's go closer. Got it. I hope so. Let's read some exam tips. To choose the correct answer and not a distractor. So, Alina, would you be so kind to read it?
Alina или Полина?
Полина.
Полина.
I would ask Alina,
but the answer and not a distractor. Listen for words and phrases that express contrast. Rather than, I was going to, but I expected but. Remember to write the words you hear.
Remember to write the words you hear. Just it's better to write them. So let's do this task. Let's try listening.
Hi, I'm Marissa and I'm here to talk to you about virtual reality. Did you know that it's been used in manufacturing for ages but only recently gained mainstream interest? In its current form, it's most closely associated with gaming, but I don't doubt that there are other uses that will become more commonplace in future. So, that's why I decided to go on a virtual reality adventure, an adventure I want to share with you today. To help me decide where to go, I tried an atlas, then a map, but only really found success when I used a popular app that allows you to virtually walk down streets all over the world. Eventually, I decided to go on a balloon ride across the Serengeti National Park. Let me tell you this, I won't forget the experience in a hurry. A couple of friends who tried something similar told me they were scared by the experience, and I'd read an article which described it as surreal. But for me, the whole thing was spectacular, and I recommend you all try it. When the balloon took off, I truly felt as if I were leaving the ground and flying high into the sky. I'd expected to see dry, dusty land, not the fertile land in front of me. It was certainly different to the scenery I'm used to in the real world, which I'd say is mostly hilly. I looked at the picturesque view. The horizon was sparkling so much I actually had to squint. I could make out something below us. At first, I thought it was bushes, but then realised it was a huge herd of wildebeest. It must have been the season for migration, which is sometime in late May or early June, just before the summer. I've heard experts say that for virtual reality to really work and feel like the real world, you need to be able to touch things. But even without that, my brain tricked me into thinking I was really on that balloon ride. I even tried to lean on the basket at one point and almost fell over. So all in all, the experience had a big effect on me. There was one negative issue that came up though. The media has reported that users can get dizzy when wearing the headsets. I was fine with that, but I was really tired when I'd finished. Fortunately, I didn't get the eye pain some doctors predict. So, there's a lot of talk about whether VR will benefit the tourist industry in future. What I think it will do is result in more effective decision-making. Before booking a trip, travellers will be able to virtually explore resorts and hotels. Of course, virtual reality will also present opportunities to people who can't fly. This is an exciting prospect, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it takes us, both in the real and virtual sense. So now, any questions?
So let's try to fill in the gaps. Marisa is convinced that virtual reality will not always be linked to the what industry? So it will change, situation will be changed, and
Traveling industry.
but today, virtual reality is not about traveling. What is it
It's
about?
not gaming.
Gaming industry. So we are talking about gaming industry. So it's about games, right, today, but in some days or in some years, in some months, it will change. The next one. Nikolai, would you be so kind to read it?
Marisa selected the virtual reality destination using
What did she use to choose it?
medicine, I think.
Where did she go to find it? Did she go to some tourist company? How do we say? How do we say туристическая компания?
Touristic company.
Why did I mention it? What are the variants to say? Tourist company, the next one, touristic one, or the tour one? What will be the best way? The tour company, and the tour company, or maybe a travel agency, as it's possible to say. So sometimes, not to be mistaken, it's better not also to learn the words, but highlight them while listening. And these words, they were mentioned in the audio. So that's why sometimes just it's important to train your ears. Let it be. So, what did she use? It was about some digital world, the internet. And Lisa asked something about the price of it. Is it for free or does it cost a lot to download it? What could it be? App, yeah, the popular app. The next one is for Polina. Marisa uses
Why? Marie.
The spectacular one to describe how she felt about the experience. So, did she like it, the experience?
Yes.
Yeah, she liked it a lot. So the next one, who would like to read? So, Sergey, would you be so kind?
All right. Marisa was surprised by how picturesque the landscape was in the Serengeti.
Maybe picturesque, but she saw a lot of trees, a lot of bushes, and everything was growing and was just so spectacular, as it was mentioned before, that she could say that it's just the best place to grow something. How do we call this place?
Fertile.
Fertile, yeah, that's true. Let's go further. So, Marisa speculated. It's for Nikolai also.
Marisa speculated that it was the summer season because she could see wild animals.
Maybe it was summer, but something else. When animals, they change the place they live. How is it called?
Migration.
Migration, yeah, migration. You are absolutely right. It's migration. The next one, Marisa believed the experience to be real despite an inability to. Let's just remember that there are 5 senses. What couldn't she do? Touch things. She couldn't touch things. Marisa's only criticism, what? That the virtual trip caused her to feel
dizzy.
It was it her feeling, or maybe it was just the way doctors would predict some events to happen? So she didn't feel dizzy, but she felt tired. She felt tired.
Yes.
Yeah. Marisa claims that virtual reality will improve
industry
major, but sometimes when you come to a
service nurse,
something else, but close to, it's difficult for you to choose where to go.
Platform
sometimes
для развития.
The platform, but you can't decide where to go, and sometimes you need some help, and you can just try virtual reality to visit some places. How can it be called?
Information center.
Close to. Let's pay attention. It's decision making, but you were close to the main idea of it. Let it be. So the next task is, there are some words that are given in the text that should be explained, or at least they could be understood from the context. What do you think about these words? So we won't work in pairs because sometimes it's difficult to work in breakout rooms. We'll work together just to get the idea of every word. So I looked at the picturesque view, and we mentioned that it's, what's the synonym? Picturesque view.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. For example, the next, sparkling. The horizon was sparkling so much I actually had to squint. What does it mean to sparkle?
Shining, maybe?
To be so shiny that she even couldn't see in a proper way. So what does it mean to squint? What do you think about it? She couldn't see.
She couldn't see.
Because of
she needed to close her eyes because of the sparkling around. Yeah.
So not too close, but
just make them smaller.
Just to squint, to make them smaller, to see something, because it's too it's so sparkling that she even can't see. So I could make out something below us. What does it mean to make out? I'm in an hot air balloon.
To see clearly.
To see clearly. And I'm it's impossible for me to see in a clear way. So bushes, it's easy to see. What does it mean, bushes? How to explain this word? I understand that you know this word, but how to explain it?
Bushes, they are small small trees.
Small plants. They are
small plants, yes, with
many thin
branches. Yes, branches, yes, and leaves.
Growing up from the ground. That's okay. Sometimes it's difficult to explain the words that are well known. The next, herd of wild beast. How to explain the word herd? Not a crowd, but something else.
Animals.
Animals, but they are
the group of animals traveling together.
Of different animals.
Wild animals, but they can be different, not only wild, yeah?
The word herd means that they are of one kind.
One
that
kind,
live
yes.
together. So it
Yes.
means that it's a herd.
Yes, the animals are the group of one kind of animals. Yes, of course. Yeah.
That usually live together, or it goes like this. The next one. So here are the words just to mention. The next task is just for using your brain to inventing, to making something up. We are going to imagine that you have taken a balloon ride over a place you know well. Maybe it's Moscow. Would it be just great? Describe what you saw and use the words given. Agricultural, grassy, hillside. What is a hillside? We have a top of a hill and a hillside. It's some kind of slope. For example, you can go snowboarding there. It's the side of a hill. The next, polluted.
Это обрыв?
No, we just have the top and the sides that go like this. You can just skate there. So there are hillsides. Polluted. How to explain it? Polluted.
It's when there is a lot of, for example, rubbish or some
so
toxic.
it is littered, but still we have the word polluted.
Загрязненный, правильно?
So we're talking about some chemicals.
Yes, it is dirty with chemicals and gases.
So it is polluted. For example, with exhaust fumes.
Yeah, fumes.
Let it be. The next one, rocky, it's easy. Roof, easy. Sandy, scenic.
Scenic, like picturesque.
Valley and vegetation. It's also easy to explain. So you can use these words just to give some sentences to describe the landscape and the picture above you. What could you tell us? We are in Moscow and we are traveling. We are having a tour, a hot air balloon tour. Is it polluted? Is our city polluted? What can you see? Is it polluted?
Of course.
Of course. So you can say that it's polluted because there is a lot of smoke there. There are a lot of cars. Is it rocky?
So actually, which pollute the air.
Okay, I'll let it be. So is it sandy? Not at all. What about roofs?
Roofs?
Can you see some roofs?
Yes, of course.
Of skyscrapers.
Very close to
they're close to you because they are the roofs of skyscrapers. Okay. Is it scenic? The view.
In some way.
Is it? Okay. And is there a lot of vegetation? It's winter, but still.
Country. Yes, if you talk about country, so yes. If you talk about
they are lucky. They are happy to have a lot of vegetation. They have hillsides, some sandy beaches, some valleys. But unfortunately, all the territories, they are usually agricultural ones. But we are Muscovites, and we can't just use these words to describe what is happening around us. Okay, so let's just change the way to discuss something. We were listening and we were talking about some words to remember and to use them in our speech. And right now we are going to talk about VR reality also, but in some context that differs a little bit. So let's go further. I'm going to demonstrate you the screen, and it's use of English. the most important part of our, not the most, but one of the most important parts of our exam. So here is the task. We can see a guy. So can you also describe me the photo? What is happening in it?
The guy is sitting in the computer class, I think, and he's wearing on himself some
how do we call it?
Modern glasses.
Oh, it is better to say that it's a headset. Huh? He's in headset.
Yes. And he's pretending to be in virtual life.
Or just he is in a virtual world. Maybe he's pretending because the headset doesn't work, but still. What else? He's smiling, as I can say, because of some reasons.
Maybe he's seeing some famous person in front of him.
And he's
greeting, like.
Okay, and he's going to meet this person to communicate and to have
conversation.
To have a conversation with this person. Let it be. What else can we add to describe the photo? If we don't know what else to add, we can just describe the person. He's wearing, he is sitting, he's holding.
So, as I understand correctly, in the background there is another person.
And we can see somewhere else.
The same clothes.
They are dressed similarly, but it's better to say they are wearing the similar
T-shirts.
T-shirts, or how to say, what is
or
it?
Jumper, I think.
Sweaters or jumpers. So, in what ways is a virtual experience, for example, a roller coaster ride, different to a real life experience? Does it differ? Let's think just about it and find 4 ideas, both positive and negative. So let's try. What are they? Just imagine you are traveling virtually.
Yes, they are different. For example, you go to roller coaster with your friends, and maybe there are a lot of people maybe who are screaming, and
you feel the atmosphere. You're close to your friend, you like it, so you can travel anywhere with somebody you love, and you can experience the situation. Okay, let it be. So we're talking about some feelings. You are not alone. Something else? Let's just mention our 5 senses. Okay, what would you say?
Yes, feelings. For example, you can't feel something like
touch. We can't just smell. Let it be. Polina, something to add? Do you have something to add?
Unfortunately, I have nothing to add.
That's not very pleasant, but still. Lisa, are you with us?
Yes.
Some positive or negative things to add? What are you thinking about? Virtual reality, there's the real one, the real life.
Maybe one of the reasons can be the safety, but roller coasters in real life are really safe and.
So it's safer to go somewhere virtually. It's safer, and sometimes it's just not only safer, but also better because you have this experience. So you can take this experience anytime, any way you want. So you don't need to go somewhere to spend some time. You are just at home and you can experience it. Something else? Something that is connected with the opinion of doctors, some ideas that the virtual reality and the headsets, they could be
dangerous for our health.
So you can't spend a lot of time virtually because it can just bring no good to your health. Okay.
Yeah, it can ruin our view glasses. How can I say?
Okay. And we have forgotten about our COVID period.
Yep.
You can travel even today while using VR reality. We can travel anywhere. So VR helps you to travel and to feel safe and to be to have freedom. You have some freedom. Okay, let it be. What about people who are disabled ones? Is it the best way to replace real traveling, for example?
Yes, it's a great opportunity for them.
It can give them positive emotions.
They can get them.
Yeah, and make them happy.
Wearing headsets. Okay, so let's go to the next exercise. It's exercise number 2. We are going to listen to a podcast about virtual experiences. And we are going to discuss a final question the presenter asks. So be attentive.
You reach the peak of Mont Blanc. Stunned by the amazing view, you remind yourself you're not actually on a mountain top, but in your bedroom. Next stop, the world's longest roller coaster ride. Virtual reality, VR, has been identified as a technology that will play a significant role in our lives. But can VR experiences ever fully replace real-life ones? Could it get to the point where, thrilled with the exciting virtual experiences we have, we become unhappy with the real world?
So the question is, if we are thrilled by our virtual reality, could we be satisfied with the real world? What do you think about? Could we replace it to the virtual one? Sergey, how do you feel about it?
Well, in my opinion, I think yes. Very soon, virtual reality will replace the real world.
It's pretty real
experience.
to replace the real world.
I think so, yes.
So we have less expenses while traveling and the same happiness while being somewhere.
But virtual traveling is not interesting as in real life because, for example, if you travel in real life, you can take some pictures and take some pictures with the helping of your eyes. But when you have virtual traveling, you just see it. And you don't feel it. You don't feel the atmosphere. For example, if you are in mountains, you don't feel the atmosphere and the масштабы.
Scale.
Yeah, the scale of the mountains, and that's why
it's different. Yeah. And you can't meet unexpectedly someone while traveling virtually.
Exactly.
Something goes as it is.
So that's why virtual traveling is not interesting at all.
Okay, agree. Hope so that it wouldn't replace, despite the words of Sergey, that virtual reality is something that is the closest thing to the real one. We hope that it wouldn't replace our world and our everyday happiness of being here and just expecting some new things to happen. Let's pay attention to the words given here. They are in red. So we are going to listen and to complete the examples with the prepositions. This is an important part of our today's work. And if yes, why? What do you think about it? The prepositions, they're just small things that are not so important, we could say.
They connect different words They are important in English.
Very important because they connect. They not only connect, they sometimes change the meaning of the word.
The meaning, yes, of course. I was thinking about phrasal verbs as well. Yes, they can change the meaning.
Brilliant. If we are talking about our brilliant exam practice, we have even some tasks that are about using prepositions, some special forms, some phrasal verbs, and so on and so forth. So let's try to pay attention to this task and to go to extend vocabulary. There are some words that they are ended with ed that what? What do we need to add? These words. There are some words with ed endings that should be used with some precise prepositions. Yeah?
Thank you.
And sometimes it's better just to go through these words to analyze and to learn these words, so to be astonished by, to be delighted by, to be determined to, for example, to pass your exams brilliantly, to be disappointed by and with. What is the difference between these prepositions?
With somebody, by something.
By somebody, with something, vice versa. The next one, okay, extended to focused on something, to be frustrated. I hope you wouldn't be frustrated with anything and by anybody. So you can be horrified, you can be involved in something, qualified or not, also unqualified. Hope you wouldn't use it. This form unqualified, related to something or unrelated to something. So restricted, shaped, suspected, and used for. So restricted to, shaped by, and suspected of. This one word is just the worst one to remember and to learn it by heart. Suspected of. I don't know why, but still it's just the reality. So let's guess. What are the prepositions to be used here? Stunned?
Stunned with?
Let it be. Identified. I will try to remember with. Identified. Sergey, what would you use?
Identified by
technology. Identified.
By technology. And Lisa, thrilled?
Over?
Of somebody. Let's try listening and just finding out if we are right or not.
You reach the peak of Mont Blanc. Stunned by the amazing view, you remind yourself you're not actually on a mountain top, but in your bedroom. Next stop, the world's longest roller coaster ride. Virtual reality, VR, has been identified as a technology that will play a significant role in our lives. But can VR experiences ever fully replace real-life ones? Could it get to the point where, thrilled with the exciting virtual experiences we have, we become unhappy with the real world?
So let's change the answers. Stunned by.
Stand by.
So
identify as
and thrilled
with.
So let's check. Everything is just in the best way as it could. Let's continue. So it's better just to learn them by heart. Sometimes it's unpredictable. The prepositions could be used with the words in one way and with other words absolutely differently. So be attentive with it. And there are a lot of words just at the end of the book of bold experience to learn them and to practice a little bit. So we are going to complete the statements with the words. As you can understand, they are followed by the preposition with, by, to, also with, and so on and so forth. So let's start working. We need to fill in the gaps with these words. Adopted, aren't, combined, dissatisfied, and related. Should you have some time, or maybe it's better just to start working all together? What do you think about? How is it better to work?
All together.
So you don't need time. Let it be. So, Sergey, would you be so kind to read us sentence number 1?
All right. People will learn more about the world if armed with VR equipment?
Armed with.
If armed, yes.
If armed with.
VR equipment.
Okay. The next one is for Lisa.
Learning is more fun when VR is
by schools. Combined by?
Adopted by.
Let it be. I put it here. There are a number of potential problems. 2. Related to VR. The next one, VR.
Combined
with social media. Or media, how would you say? The next, some people might have lovely. You're not very attentive, so you're tired, yeah? So some people might solely. What does mean solely? You're just alone. There is nowhere close to you, so you can live solely or might live solely in the virtual world if
dissatisfied with the real
satisfied. What do you think about this idea? Do we have a lot of people who would prefer to live solely? Do you agree with it?
No.
Why not? Anyhow, this person should interact with our world, today's one, because he or she has some needs to go to the shop. What else? Even to communicate in real with some people. What sentences do you agree with? What ideas do you agree with? What about sentence number 1? Do you agree that VR equipment helps us to know more about the world? For example, if you want to know what is where in the space, we can learn it with VR equipment, or
we can use VR equipment to how to say, to learn more about Mariana Trench.
Okay, the Mariana Trench will be just known by some people, and maybe there would be some tours there, the VR ones. Number 2, do you agree learning is more fun when VR is adopted by schools?
Yes, it can be more fun, but I'm quite skeptical about VR.
Me too, because they can get used to it.
Yes,
and it will be just the real thing that exists, and that's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it can be more fun, of course. Yeah.
So some excursions, for example, if you're talking about English, some different ways to learn words and to know more about the world. Okay, number 4, VR combined with social media will change communication. How would it how would it be changed? Can it be changed?
Yes, of course, we can communicate with computers, and it's going right now. Yes, we are talking to Alisa or something like that. Yes, so and our communication is changing because of that.
Our world is changing because of that.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know if it's better to say unfortunately or vice versa. But still, it's the reality, the today's one. The next one, some people might live solely in a virtual world. So you think that it's impossible, as I can understand? Silence. Would you try yourself? being just alone in the virtual reality?
I wouldn't try it.
I would, and me too. I think the majority of us wouldn't. Okay. So let's continue. This task is the task of some just for some genius. I hope you are. So let's try to change the sentences using this word given just to have the same meaning, but different in its form. And we are to use 3 or 6 words, from 3 to 6 words here. Paul, blah, 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 with. Dissatisfaction caused Paul to complain about his headset.
Paul was dissatisfied with his headset, so he made a complaint.
Is it okay? What do you think about it? Guys, was dissatisfied with his headset? I think it's okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's check it. Yeah, you are the winner. The next one, Lisa, would you be so kind to read it and to answer? The mix of
virtual reality and education could be quite powerful when virtual reality would be combined.
It's. I think it would be easier. Virtual reality just is combined.
Is combined, yeah.
Combined
with what?
Education.
And it?
It could have the potential.
It could have. It has. Okay. So it has the potential. The next one is for Nikolai.
If schools adopt virtual reality, students will enjoy huge benefits from it. If virtual reality is
just use the verb in the first part of the sentence. It starts with a. Yeah?
Adopted.
Adopted. Yeah, is adopted. So continue. What would you put here?
Is adopted by students with huge benefits, with benefits hugely from it.
They will benefit, but sometimes it's better to say that schools should adopt it. Yeah? Schools will adopt it, and if virtual reality is adopted by schools, so students will benefit. You are absolutely right, but the words can be changed. So thank you very much. So let's continue. The word virtual describes anything on the internet, anything connected. Sergey, would you be so kind to give it, to do it? Anything connected? So what we put here? Let's help him. Anything connected. What preposition should we use? Connected with. Yeah. Lisa, will you help?
Connected with the internet. As
the verb. We should put here the verb and use this word describe.
Describe
is described
as word
virtual. The next one. Last year, my school created a department for technology. Last year, a department it's difficult to say. Sometimes it's better to use the word dedicated at the very beginning of the sentence. Last year, department dedicated to what?
To technology.
And the verb is the verb to be in its past form. So dedicated to technology was. And the last one, the benefits persuaded school leaders to invest in VR. School leaders were so
Convinced
by what?
by benefits.
By the benefits, that they
persuaded.
No, they were convinced. They were convinced, persuaded. So they just, what did they do?
Invested.
That they invested in VR. Okay, let it be. So the last tasks, they're a little bit similar. Maybe it's just, it will be your homework. So that's why the last idea is, how could virtual reality be used in your school in everyday school life? How can it be implemented there? And what the results will be? Maybe sometimes it's better to use the forms of your own lovely essays. Just the idea will be, virtual reality will improve the educational process in every school. And your homework will be, if you would like to participate in a year, to think about some arguments and disagreement with these arguments. And it will be, I think, the last idea just to discuss with us. And this idea will help you just to form your own thoughts about the virtual reality and the way how to write it while doing your exam tasks. So I mean, the essay work. So it was great to work with you. I think it's just high time to finish our today's workshop. If you have some questions, we can discuss them all together.
Can you repeat maybe the title of the essay?
Okay, let it be. Virtual reality will improve the educational process in any school. Virtual reality will improve the educational process in any school. Here it is. It will be just your homework for yourself, or you can share it with us while sending this essay to us. You can see the email. I will give it to you. So do you have some questions that are connected with the student's book, with the process of studying, with some maybe tasks given? We can just discuss it with you at the end of our meeting, of our workshop, the last one, within the framework of our winter Pearson Festival. No questions. As I can understand, no questions. Am I right? So
yes, everything is clear.
Okay, I'm going just to demonstrate you the screen, just to be sure that you know what is the book we were working with, and we are going maybe to talk about in a minute. So it's Gold Experience, the interaction lab, and some apps to be used here just to improve your skills, the exam ones. Here is the way to follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube. So my mail and my email and my mobile phone. If you want to ask some questions, to give some help, maybe just to interact, please write, call. I will be happy to answer. And I hope you will get the plan of this workshop with some details, with some materials to be just shared. So it will be within 3 days. So I was happy to work with you. Hope you got something to be implemented into your practice. I hope to see you and was happy to work with you. So
Thank you very much.
Goodbye. Thank you very much, just in fact, to be with us today. Goodbye. See you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.